And hello, welcome back. It's been a while. It's been a while. My apologies. I've had exams. I couldn't go on and just leave my studies behind, guys. So it is what it is. But I'm back with another video. And I'm doing something a bit different today. Usually, I talk about the big boxing, the big boxing. Okay. So I talk about the big fights, whatever's coming up. But today, I want to talk about small creator boxing. So, what is small creator boxing? Small creator boxing is basically you take your influencer boxing. They're just smaller creators or a smaller platform who want to raise up their levels and raise up their socials and their platforms and their influence to then try and fight in Misfits boxing, which is the end goal for a lot of these small creator boxers. So, I just thought, why not talk about it? Why not? There's an event happening on Friday this week in America. Creator Fight League 3, which is what I wanted to talk about today, because I'm actually really looking forward to this card, and no exaggeration, this actually might be one of the best small creator boxing cards of all time. Now, there is some competitors. Breakout Boxing has hosted 5 events so far, and 3 and 4 in particular. Incredible card. But this card is really, really, really good. So I'm just going to go in depth about it, and let's not make haste, Jordan. Let's make haste. Let's talk about it. Let's begin. So, Creator Fight League is basically a platform for the smaller creators to come up and try to show themselves off and, showcase their boxing abilities to then fight on Misfits, essentially. So, it's run by Anthony Taylor, who's known as the Pretty Boy. That's his fighting name. He's an ex-MMA fighter, I think, on Bellator. And he recently had a main event, a cruiserweight clash. I think it was either cruiserweight or heavyweight against a UFC fighter called Darren Till. And you might have heard of him, you might not have, but Darren Till's very, very famous in the UK. Unfortunately, Anthony lost, but he put up a really great fight when Tommy Fury pulled out, the pro boxer Tommy Fury. So goes to show you how hey, AT's got balls. Anthony Taylor, AT. He's got courage. He's willing to go in there with someone that Tommy Fury was apparently too scared to fight. So the game's the game, But let's just wanted to give you some background context to what CFL is and who runs it. Basically, it's just an opportunity for the small creators to go on and showcase their abilities in boxing and I guess in promotional material as well. That's a very important part about the obvious influencer boxing thing, is not just being a boxer, because if you had the boxing skills but no influential promotional ability, you're just a boxer. You're not a, you're not a influencer boxer. They're two separate things. So it kind of shows you have the ability to promote as well as your boxing ability. So let's just I'm going to talk about some of the fights now. So the first one, without further ado, kicking it off is John Moore, also known as the main card, versus Little Joey. Now, these two, this is a fight I'm excited about because I'd say I'm friendly enough with both the fellas. So I'm not picking anyone to win. I'm not picking any favorites because they both follow me and I am not getting involved. But what I will say is this is an exciting fight. This is a very exciting fight, and I'll tell you why. For me, I host these Twitter Spaces occasionally on Twitter, and X, I should say, but I call it Twitter. But these guys, I went to my spaces. These guys were going off at each other. These guys were giving each other so much shit. I think they were insulting each other for half an hour straight. It was entertaining. It was funny. And you know what? It made me interested in the fight. It definitely did, because it seems like there is actually some beef. It seems like there's actually some, I want to beat the shit out of you sort of energy, So I'm absolutely excited. I have no idea who won or who will win. John Moore has more experience, but it was his one fight. He's 0-1 against a loss against someone else who's appearing on this card, and a good friend of mine. His name is Divine Xavier. He got knocked out by Divine, but now I don't know. The real question is, how good is Divine? Because we don't know if John Moore, we haven't seen much, so maybe Divine was just really good. We don't know, and I think Divine is very good. So I'm personally going to think that this is a closer fight, because Little Joey, this is his debut. So it's 0-1 versus debut. So, you know what? It's tight enough. It's nothing, do you know what I mean? It's not to say this is like a a mismatch. It's absolutely not. This could go either way. It's just really a question of how good is a little Joey and how really good is John Moore, or a main card. Whatever your preference is. I'm just gonna call him John. Honestly, it's far easier. But it's coming up to be a very good fight. Definitely tuned. It's the first fight as well. That's the crazy part. I think it definitely should have been moved up because these guys were going at each other. They were giving each other a lot of shit. So it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be great, but we'll see. Won't we? So moving on to number 2. Now, just to reiterate, I'm not talking about every single fight in this card because I could be here absolutely all day. So I'm just going to talk about the ones that really, really do interest me to a degree, and if not, really interest me, because there are a few that really interest me. And some of the levels of fights on this card could be the equivalent to what you would see on a normal Misfits boxing card, which is the highest standard in the influencer boxing scene. So like every other promotion has tried to stand up to Misfits, fell horribly. Kingpin got bankrupt. Social Knockout got bankrupt. Fucking Social Gloves got knocked out. But none stood up. None survived. But Misfits. So Misfits is the standard, and that's where everyone wants to go. And some of these fights on this event, pretty much the quality of a Misfits fight, to be honest. Like, at least coming up to the top, especially. Like the co-main and the main event, definitely. But just they're good quality. They're very good quality. I'm being absolutely socially inept again. Sorry, that you'll find that's very common on this channel. Me being socially inept at this episode, talking nonsense in the camera. It is what it is. It is what it is. You'll have to get used to it. But the next fight I want to talk about is Poseidon's Workshop versus Steven, or just Steven, this is an interesting fight because originally Poseidon's Workshop was going to fight a guy called Brad Heat, who is 0-2, so 2 losses for a debut fighter, and but Brad Heat went MIA, missing in action, unresponsive, couldn't be contacted, so Ice Poseidon had to take a new fight. And not Ice Poseidon, I'm getting them mixed up again. Poseidon's Workshop had to take a new fight. And now, originally, I did want Poseidon to fight a friend of mine called Pascal Logic, who's a pretty good boxer. He's 1-0 and would have been a very, very, very good test for a debutant because, he's not had the, obviously he's 1-0. It's not to say he's 50-0 and coming in to fight this guy. No, it would have been a fair enough test, like 1-0 versus debut. And a lot of the people wanted to push Pascal Logic to get the fight. But Poseidon did decide to fight a 2-0 boxer, so 2 wins. He's with 1 knockout, called Steven. And do you know what? That's a big step up. 2-0 versus 0-2. That's a negative record to a positive record. So you know what? Fair play to Poseidon, because I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, but if you're willing to up the levels, then you know what? It goes to show that if you're willing to do that for the fans, and you have some entertainment value, that you're willing to really just go out there, and even if you do lose, hey, well, you fought against a guy that was 2-0 in your debut. Now, if it was a guy of 0-2 and you fought them, no one would care, because people would be like, oh, well, you're going to win anyways. Do you know what I mean? So, fair play. I think this could be a very good fight for both fellas, because if Poseidon wins in his debut, that takes him up a good amount in people's opinions, and his fighting skills more so. And if Steven wins, then he gets a pretty decent name, because I'm pretty sure Poseidon has like 100,000 like TikTok followers. He's got a backing. He's got a social backing. So we'll see. It elevates both men to a degree, because if Poseidon wins, he gets elevated. You know what I mean? Like, wow, he beat a guy that's 2-0, and if he loses, well, no big deal. He lost to a guy 0-2 or 2-0. Just time to rebuild and back up and take some easier opposition. But he's willing to test himself. That's very good. It's very good. So he should be very happy with that, win or lose. And if he wins, then that's looking good for him. And if Steven wins, that's also good. You got a big name in your record, that give you more opportunity. So we'll see. We'll see how it happens, guys. But No, you know what? That's a very good, impressive step up to go from 0-2 to 2-0 in a short notice. So yeah, fair play to him. Fair play to him. I wish him the best. Good stuff. Now the next fight is probably the fight I'm the most looking forward to in the entire card, and that is Divine Xavier versus Jason. Not even going to try to pronounce the surname. No, that's not happening. But I'm very excited for this fight, and that's because Divine, I'd say, is a friend of mine. I would say we're friends. You know, we're always in contact. We like to chat. We send each other memes here and there, or we just chat shit. It's fun. It's very fun. But he's a good friend. I'd say he's a friend of mine in the scene, and I'm rooting for him. The manager of Misfits, his name's Mams Taylor. He says, "Hey, look, if he gets a knockout in this event, CFL3, Divine will get a fight on Misfits." That's a big opportunity right there. So I'm absolutely praying and Xavier gets that absolute knockout. You know, absolutely, he gets the win. Get him that opportunity because he's fighting in front of Mams. Mams is going to the event, so he's going to see all the talent, the prospects. You know, and I think I have faith Divine will get the job done. You know what? I think he's worked too hard. He's got a good work ethic. You know, he's making content while training his boxing and training his ass off for boxing. I think he's got the talent. I think he's got the ability, and he's got the promotional ability that I think he's going to go very far. So, absolutely rooting for him. And he's basically one of the biggest reasons I'm watching this event because it's like a pay-per-view. It's like €15, but honestly, it's worth it. I don't mind. I actually don't mind. I think this will be a very good fight. There is a storm happening on Friday night here in Ireland, though. So Storm Owen. So I will try my best to still watch it. I'll just have to like charge up my power bank. So game's a game, but I'll still watch it hopefully. Because I'm rooting for him. I'm absolutely rooting for him. You know, Divine. So good mind, Divine. If you're watching this, I hope you get ready, man. It's a couple days. Just a couple days, you get your win. Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. Now, the next person I'm going to talk about, or the next fight that really sticks out to me is USA Saiyan versus Andy Savage. Now, these guys are, I believe this is going to be a middleweight bout, I want to say. But I'm looking forward to this because USA Saiyan was meant to fight in Misfits before, but he just had to pull out. I think he was injured or he was sick, and he's very entertaining. He's got an interesting style. He's very strong. That's the one thing. I think he did Ninja Warrior. If you ever seen that obstacle course show, it's very physical fitness based. He was really good in it. Apparently, he's won several times. He's gotten. He's just good. He's good. He's very good at it. He's a physically gifted guy. I think he's good. Who knows? He could come in and get that win. I think he could. So he's fighting a guy called Andy Savage, who is. I think he's 4-0. I think he's 4-0. But regardless, I don't know too much about Andy, but I think he's a pretty good challenge. I think for anyone who's fighting at that weight. But it'll be an interesting fight. That's the co-main event. It's a pretty 50-50 fight. I think. Who knows? Though one of them could prove me wrong and make it a masterclass. But nothing's 50-50 when the fight ends, isn't it? Right? There's always got to be someone who wins unless it's a draw. But I think those guys have enough power that can knock each other out. I really doubt it goes to the scorecards in the first place. So that's why to me it's very exciting because any fight where you get two power punchers in is always an exciting fight. You know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to it. It adds for a brilliant fight, and we'll see what happens. I think it'll be a great fight for the fans, for anyone watching. It's a worthy co-main, and it's a fight that you would see in Misfits. That is 100% a fight you could see on a card of Misfits, on a main card. Yeah, absolutely, you could. So I think it's a very good show put on by him. So put on by AT. I mean, but we'll see. But I think it'll be great. I personally think it's going to be a balling fight. And now I just want to talk about the main event for a quick minute as well. The main event is hosted, not hosted, but the main event is occupied by a Jenny Savage. She fought in Misfits before. And who's Jenny Savage? I believe her name is Becca Robinson. I think it'll be an interesting fight. I don't know what Becca Robinson's like skill-wise. I don't know. I've never seen her fight. I think it'll be interesting because Jenny looked pretty good against a woman called Elle Brooke. Elle Brooke is basically considered one of the best influencer boxers, female wise. You know, she's considered one of the best. And you know what? She like Elle got a win over Jenny, but Elle had to work for it. She didn't earn it. She didn't get a knockout. It went to decision. So you know what? It says the quality of Jenny, and she's a good fighter, very good fighter. I think she was a bare knuckle fighter, so BKFC. So that's ran by McGregor, and I think a man called Felderman or Felder. Sorry, Paul Felder. Paul Felder. Sorry, my bad. But what I'm trying to say is, I think it's a worthy main event, and it's definitely again another fight you'd see in Misfits, and that's what's so special about this event to me. This stuff you'd see on Misfits itself, whereas the breakout cards they really target people who are fans of the small creator boxing scene, because everyone who fights in them is known by some people. Like they're always known in that scene and that specific audience, but with this CFL card, like there's people from the main Misfits who are into the whole like the bigger influencer boxing and the small influencer boxing. So you got a mix of both with your USA scene and your Jenny Savage, and then with the small creator boxing, I mean, you've got obviously Divine, Poseidon's Workshop. There's another two heavyweights fighting, Cake Paul and Big Sam. Cake Paul's like basically a guy who's impersonating Jake Paul a lot. That's I'm sure you could figure out from the cake what the joke is, but Cake Paul, I mean, it's appeals to both audiences. So I think it's a very smart event. I think it's an intelligent event, and I think it's going to, for me. But then again, I'm biased because my friend's on that, so I'm going to be biased. I'm going to be absolutely biased, and I'm glad I didn't talk about every fight tonight, because this is already 18 minutes long, and I only went through like 5 of the fights. I would have been here all night, and I'm sure none of y'all are watching this long, so thank fuck. But no, you know what? I think it's going to be a very worthy event. I think it's going to be something I'm excited to watch personally. I'm really excited to watch it, so we're going to see. So fair play to Anthony Taylor. You're putting on paper what looks to be possibly one of the best small creator boxing cards probably in the history of that scene. Maybe obviously you're going to have some competition with Breakout there, but do you know what? It's up there. It's really, really, really up there. So fair play. Fair play. What else can I say? Good job. And hey, keep them coming. It helps the scene. More people, more names that get to show off their skills and abilities. That helps out the whole scene and gives a lot of people more opportunities to do something they want to do. So, I have to applaud you for it, man. Good stuff. But hey, I think that'll do it for this video. And if you for some reason watched it this late, thanks. Please sub, like it hopefully, and comment if you have any opinions and thoughts on the event, because again, that would help boost the algorithm, so that would help me. But it also shows a bit of interest and engagement with the event I wanted to talk about. So yeah, you know what? We'll see you. Hopefully, I'm going to make another video on Saturday now that I'm back on track. I got my exams done. So let's get at it. Hopefully, make some more content and try to see where this event goes. And, I hope this event gets a bit more engagement with this video. Not saying I have the most subscribers, but every little helps, right? Every little helps. So we'll see you. We'll see you guys later. I hope you have a great day. Peace, guys. Have a good one.